Welcome to Nebula 404, where we introduce listeners to the world of technology. We'll be discussing the workforce needs for capacity, the education changes that are necessary for how we teach and what we teach, and we'll explore and introduce opportunities for those seeking careers in tech. We're excited to have a guest with us today, a CEO of Sandwire, Adam Schwab. So he is going to share with us a little bit about his background and what it takes to get into the tech field. So welcome, Adam.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. So you are local Long Island.
Yep.
Local, and obviously this show is being produced here in Long Island. Mm-hmm. And so we're excited to have you with us. And for students who are listening, to hear a little bit about what is it like to be, run an organization in tech. So can you share a little bit about what you guys do?
At Sandwire, we manage and maintain computer systems and technology for almost any type of organization, whether you're a one-person company or a 200-user company. You have a computer, everyone sits at a computer all day long, that sits on a network, that has a camera, that has software on it. Nothing works perfectly. Everyone needs some guidance, and that's what we do.
That's cool. So I have a lot in common with you. I used to own my own technology company many years ago. Former life, I always tell people, it was pre working for Microsoft and pre having my own business again. So I can totally relate to some of the work that you're doing. But I want to have listeners really understand. What are the skills and things that you see, and what are the challenges that you're faced with running a company today? Because I know when I was running a company, getting resources and hiring good talent was the thing I heard all the time. And honestly, that was why I started We Connect Dots, was because I wanted to be able to address that issue for companies like you, who are really looking to understand how do we get people in these fields and get the capacity building that we need.
So talent comes in all shapes and sizes and forms. You'd be surprised when you think there's no talent out there. Next thing you know, you realize there's more talent out there than you thought. For a while, the way technology was, it was pretty stagnant. Like for instance, right now, we're able to do this and have a vlog because of the technology that we have now. It's a piece of cake. I mean, you have these bunch of people sitting right here being able to produce us, being able to cut it up. You don't have to have 10 cameras out there and film. It's just a bunch of younger people who understand the technology who are able to put this together. And that's where those resources come in. This generation has an innate ability and understanding from day one, from when you're literally 8 months old to a year old. All of a sudden you get an iPad in your hand and you know how to use it. I mean, seriously, it's just really the way it is. So when you're talking about getting talent, there's more talent out there, at least from my industry, than there is for maybe many other industries. It's innate. So
you're seeing no challenges with hiring and getting the resources that you need to grow your business?
Well, as I can look at the camera and say this is another generation of work ethic that's a little different than kind of what I'm used to, but at the same time, it's an on-demand type of service. And one of the things that with modern day technology, you're always there and you're always available no matter where you are or when you need it.
Right.
And this generation really does completely understand that. And really after this year, being available anywhere remote is real and possible.
Yeah, COVID really brought the awareness to everyone in the workforce, the challenges with not having technology. Or the ability if having technology, you were able to quickly flip or really kind of think about how you were going to transition your job, right? But if you didn't have it, then now it really impacted those who were already being impacted, right?
Sure.
And that's a problem. So we're working on to address that.
I think like the new vocabulary word that's in everyone's mind is pivot. That's a big thing, and
COVID made us all pivot, right?
Yeah, that's right. It made everyone all pivot, have a better understanding with we could talk about COVID, and that plays a lot into this because it changed the complete landscape of what people do, how they do it, where they do it from. The typical, let's say, admin who works at an office who would shuffle papers back and forth, run down to the fax machine, which people still do, I can't understand that, and go through file cabinets. All of a sudden they were at home. Right. And then they had to
How do I get to my stuff? It's not here.
Right. Well, the realization was, why do you need that stuff? Why does it have to be there?
Yeah.
So, and this generation, they understand that it's all literally at your fingertips.
Yeah, so I love that because, reality is that, I heard the same thing from a lot of companies that I work with and people that I work with. And that fact that, they would be frustrated because they couldn't get to the resources they need because they were at the office. And they now, all those times where they kept saying, oh, we can't put that online, we can't put that digitally, we can't put that digitally. Now COVID hits us and we've got no choice. We've got to put it digitally, otherwise we can't get to it, right?
Well, with that being said, okay, so there's a flip side to all this, okay, and I'll use that word cyber war, okay, or cybercrime. So because now everything is digital, criminals right now are, wow, everything's digital. It's up there. I can get my hands on it. I can get to it. So there has been this, once again, pivot and shift in technology, and we have a war right now. And the war right now is a cyber war. We're not fighting it with airplanes and bombers and soldiers. You're fighting it with technology people sitting in a room trying to figure out, how do we screw things up? How do we screw up the economy? So now that things are going remotely and everything is online, there's this shift to, okay, it's there. We have to change our attitude. There aren't file cabinets anymore.
Right.
So they had to learn.
They're digital file cabinets.
That's right. So if you were an admin or you worked at an office and you were used to working that way and you were getting into your office remotely, you were asking your children now, oh my God, I'm on my laptop, I can't get online, I can't get into the office. Most of those challenges, by the way, were not to do with VPNs or the way the offices were set up. It was really wireless, Wi-Fi, bandwidth from home.
Issues,
the biggest call we have, I can't get into my VPN. Well, where are you sitting? Around the pool? Yeah. You really got Wi-Fi around the pool?
I do.
Sure. Well, you really think you do until you're on a VPN and hiccups and then you lose your connection.
Yeah.
Hey, sure.
Yeah, the technology's really allowed us to kind of expand our presence from our houses as well. But I've been on calls where I've seen people who were like, wait a minute, I've got to get my kids to stop watching a movie right now because I can't do this video call with you while they're doing that. No. Those, because we're using shared networks at home, right?
Well, there's a flip side to that though. So do you sacrifice your sanity by turning off the Netflix and getting work done? Or do you actually get the work done or do you keep them kind of online watching, you'll say, I'll just get to it later because there is this.
It's a balance that these parents have, right?
Or even, let's call it not Netflix, your kids are home and they're gaming.
Right.
And they don't want to get interrupted. And we're going to get into that later, but the whole gaming and what we're talking about today and coding, it's all part of it.
Yeah. So what are the challenges that you're faced with though as a leader regarding building those capacity?
So I'm 50. I don't know where that falls on the 50's and new 30. I have no idea where that falls. In my industry, I'm an old man. Okay, but being an old man, but starting as gamer when we had like Atari and real joysticks and stuff like that, we've kind of moved up. So one of the challenges that I face is kind of embracing the changes. I have to, just like lawyers have to continuously learn the new laws and accountants have to learn the new tax laws, I have to continuously learn about the evolving technology. And for me as a leader, I have to be able to speak intelligently to my team about the things that they're doing, and I have to trust that they know and I have to trust that I know. So there is this, we have to culminate our efforts and combine our skill set, and sometimes that's a big challenge because this generation knows a lot more than I do, and as a business, we have to be able to support everyone.
Right.
Our clients will call us up, they got a question, we got to answer it. So that is one of the biggest challenges.
So are you a lifelong learner?
My wife would say no. I can't learn how to clean up.
Yeah, but a lifelong learner in the tech field because that's
Sure.
really important skill, right?
So, in discussing technology, which we're doing right now, the world is at your fingertips. I can go, hey, okay, Google, and I'm surprised that nothing just beeped in here and just said, what do you need? But you can learn everything on Google. You're always a lifelong learner. And as a matter of fact, that I want to learn about anything, it's almost like the Matrix. talk to Google, and I go down that rabbit hole, and then I learn about everything.
Right.
So kind of works that way too, if you want to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, but I find that, for somebody who's in the tech field, that's easy, right? Somebody who's not really had maybe exposure or parents that were in the tech field, they have no idea. They have no concept of what's out there. They can explore, but they get lost easy, let's just say.
Yeah, well, the interest is a little different. I mean,
Right.
that's the biggest thing. The older generation, they grew up with paper books.
Yeah.
They have a library, when you go, right?
Right, but we say that because we're entitled. We are. You and I are entitled. We are. We are entitled because we have access. We've had access. As young adults, we had access to technology. But there are people out there today still in the United States who don't have access and don't
Right.
have exposure, right? And so that's really one of the big pieces that we're trying to address in our mission, is to make sure that everybody has access, so that everybody has that opportunity to get these really exciting opportunities and career paths and build sustainable careers.
Sure.
So when you look to hire somebody, what are the characteristics that you look for?
So my characteristics have actually changed. Years ago, my attitude was, I didn't really want a college graduate, but I wanted someone who made a commitment to doing something, whether it's a technical school or college, to be able to focus, commit, and finish something. And that was one of my characteristics. Time changes, things evolve. Now, you may have a skill set from day one that's innate. So the characteristics were, I'll ask in my interviews, you a gamer? No joke, I'll ask that question. Are you a gamer? Are you a gamer? When you're a gamer, you have the best understanding. These games like Minecraft, it really does get their minds working all day long. And as a matter of fact, they're so into it, and it's part of their thought process. You'll find out that they're coding and going to school just to make games like Gaming Academy. It's amazing.
No, it's true. And I think that I have three sons and two younger ones that play video games all the time, and sometimes a little bit too much. And it's all about teaching balance, right? For parents who can relate to this, moms probably more so than dads will get frustrated with this. It's about thinking about the value of what gaming really does for your kids. And what I see from a parent is that it's teaching collaboration skills. It's teaching that ability to communicate with others and problem solve online. And we need those skills. We know that COVID really brought that very apparent, that we needed people who could work and work collaboratively online and problem solve. And what are they doing in video games? They're problem solving, and they're doing that globally and learning new languages as they're interacting and socializing with people online. So it's really an amazing, and there's a lot of research out there regards to gaming and how that impacts somebody from a learning experience and a social impact. So I think there's some positive pieces to it, but just like anything, it's balance, right? It's making sure that our young adults are balancing that and having good work ethic, because I think there's a lot of challenges around that today, and a lot. I hear that that's a common thing that I'll hear too, is somebody having this generation having good work ethic, right? Do they even know what that means, right? And I think sometimes they don't know what it means because it's a little different for our kids today, right? They don't, when I grew up, we had paper routes.
I was just about to say,
yeah,
when I grew up, I had 3 paper routes.
Babysitting, paper routes, you did all of this stuff, right? So you built those skills and capacities at 13 and 14. Today, most kids are not even getting out to their first internship or work experience until they're 16 or above, which is a problem, right?
Well, there's a focus now on scholastics.
Yeah.
Even though we were younger, there was a focus on it, but now there's even more focus on scholastic. You just said you had 3 boys, right?
I have 4 kids, 3 boys, yeah.
3 boys. Was there anything delicate in your house?
No, my kids, I had to redo my basement, because when I redid my basement, I put them down there.
And be happy.
Because I was like, you can't do this upstairs. You need to go downstairs and break those things down there.
And be happy too that COVID, when they were around, that there was this whole online world.
Oh yeah,
they weren't beating each other up. They were focusing more on
playing video games.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
A little bit too much, but that's okay. All right, so what are some of the tech skills that you're seeing like growing and expanding in your business today that you really think that businesses are seeing evolving?
Analytical skills.
Analytical skills. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and I'll go back to that gaming again.
Yeah.
Playing games like Minecraft, it is working your whole analytical system. When we were younger, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Okay, now you're playing.
They still play that.
They do. You go on your campaigns and things like that. It's great, but now they're playing it virtually.
Yeah.
And they're not playing with their friends down the block. They're playing with
somebody
their
in
friends.
Russia.
Right, Australia,
Yeah,
New
yeah,
Zealand,
yeah.
Iceland,
Yeah.
and
My son learned Russia online from playing video games with his friends.
that's the best thing. So you were saying analytical skills,
Yeah.
and one of the challenges that we are somewhat facing is the social skill aspect.
Right.
And that is a little challenging because they're not facing each other one-on-one, they're facing each other virtually.
Right.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Facial expressions, body language, a lot of things that you're not grabbing.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this though, that with this generation, they're learning to do that online. Yeah. And that's a real big thing. So there's a social skill aspect. There is a, like I was saying before, analytics. The analytics are different now than they were when we were younger.
So give me an example of what you're looking for from a skill set from somebody who's you're looking to hire from an analytics perspective.
Okay, so you have to be able to think of 10 different things at once. When you're working sometimes a regular job, you're focusing on one item. In the technology world, there's 100 different things happening at once. What could be causing the problem? Is it someone not hitting a key on the keyboard? Is it internet related problem? Is it a user problem?
Right.
It is a program problem. People who can think on the fly and think of 10 different things at once and go back to the root and start with the most simplest of answers and be able to move forward.
Yeah, so computational thinking, critical thinking skills. Yeah, when I think of analytical skills, I think about somebody looking at data like Excel or online business intelligence and stuff like that. Do you see those kind of aspects in your business as well?
Sure, well, and that's a big thing too. So you have different generations of people using Excel,
right.
Okay? So now they're learning Excel.
I hate Excel, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what though?
I love it, but I hate it.
Okay,
I hate being the user of it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Even as an IT guy,
yeah.
I think if people will call us up and say, well, how do you do this in Word and how do you do this in Excel? Well, I don't know. I know what works behind the scenes.
Right, right.
But as a business owner, I've had to use Excel and I've had to learn. I learned a lot of it, once again, going right online. But they're learning this in junior high now.
Right. I
mean, when you talk about PowerPoints and you go, oh my God, I gotta make one of those, my daughter in a heartbeat will know exactly how to do that. So they're using it's a completely different skill set.
Yeah, so they're getting exposure at a younger age, so it's bringing that, those transferable skills are coming into the workforce. So you're seeing that in your hires. Yeah,
and so when I'm sitting there looking at in my hires, looking what they do for fun, and interestingly enough, what they do for fun are skill sets that I actually need for my day-to-day operation.
Like what?
So when you're sitting there, like I'll use my daughter for an example. She just went to Aruba with her friends, okay? And when she went to Aruba with friends, she took this picture here, took this picture there, took this picture here. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go backwards. Before she wanted to go to Aruba, she had to sell it to me.
Right,
How did she sell it to me? She took all these other pictures and made it into a PowerPoint and said, Dad, this is why I gotta go to Aruba.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, and it was great. It's like she made her own little movie and a little presentation in PowerPoint like that, just to pitch it to me. And you know what? I gotta tell you, just the fact that she did that to pitch it alone, I couldn't say no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's convincing, definitely.
Right. And so when you're thinking about technology skills, those are skills not just for a technology company, those are skills for a marketing company, advertising company. You got a skill set from day one, just from putting together a presentation that you learned how to make in school to sell your dad on going to Aruba.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's very cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how you participated in We Connect the Dots this year. So you didn't even know who we were. We were like the first time you heard about us, and we reached out and you had volunteered to be a judge for our Codathon this past January.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about that experience and what that was like for you.
It was crazy, but it was one of the best experiences I ever had. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was asked, oh, you're a tech guy. Can you be a judge in a Codathon? And I'm sitting on a panel. It's a little different. Next thing you know, and I felt like I got sucked into this 4-hour thing. Wow, one of the best 4 hours I could ever spend. I had no idea what the Codathon was, and I really wanted to, participate. And it was I think I got more out of the Codathon than maybe some of the participants did. I'm not kidding. I learned about this entire new generation, what they can do.
It's amazing what they're capable of creating, right?
Well, use that word, creating, okay? That Codathon taught children that they can think something and just make it a reality. Yeah. I mean, that was it. They had these, one of the concepts was how to pick up trash in a city And now all of a sudden I'm watching TV, and it's 8 months later, and I'm watching this Domino's commercial, and the Noid is back, and you know what he's doing? He's jumping in front of all these new cars that are driving themselves to deliver pizzas.
Right.
And they basically thought of an algorithm, and they created it, and it was great. And you had team leaders, you had doers, they were able to pull themselves together. There was inclusion from every member of the team, and these were just kids.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's amazing. When we do that program every year, what we really see is that it's, you give them the tools and guidance and some boundaries to stick with, and we focus on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And when we do that, it really gives the kids a lot of autonomy to really get creative. And creativity can be expressed in so many different ways. And so for these students, they had a chance to really express marketing creativity, express coding creativity, express really presentation skills, and how to really represent themselves and share what they had created together. So it's a really amazing opportunity, and we're super excited that you were able to participate this year. And we love to have people like you come in and to participate, because you get to learn about who we are and the impact that we're creating for organizations like you, because reality is we're trying to build capacity for companies like you, right? So that you can build and grow and scale, that you've got the talent that you need to be able to run your business. And we need more of that, right?
Yep. And if there was a takeaway of some things that I learned, let's say 3 things, okay? Participation from the team, carrying the entrepreneurial torch, and leadership. I mean, you had all of those elements in each team, and however they put those teams together, I mean, it was awesome. There was one team in particular where, by the way, they're young. Okay,
13 to 18.
Right,
yeah. And I think we had a 12-year-old this year too.
They had
that was participating.
One young gentleman who, even if he was not a creator or he wasn't a developer, what an unbelievable team leader. He was able to speak. He was able to let his team speak. They were able to get their ideas, and he was able to get everyone in front of that camera to be able to talk, to be able to participate. There was inclusion for everything, and I jumped right in, just like they were doing it. I was more excited to talk about it to them and ask them questions. I had the opportunity. I was right there, and I got to tell you, there was one guy in particular, one young man in particular. I'm like, listen, here's my number. Give me a call.
Yeah.
Right? As a matter of fact, I'm sorry. Wait. Why don't you just push a button? Let's have a little, Zoom session, right? And by the way, thinking of the word Zoom, when we were kids, the only time I ever heard the word Zoom was from the TV show.
Yes.
And now it's part of the vernacular. It's amazing.
It's like Google, right?
Sure.
Zoom, Google,
Amazon, right?
So you learned. Sounds like you learned a lot from the experience.
Totally.
All right. So thank you. I really want to thank you for joining us today, and for sharing who you are and what you do, and anything you want, any advice that you would give to students who are out there today that may be looking or exploring tech careers, what you would tell them to do?
adam.schwam@sandwire.com. Any of you, just give me a call. I'll chat with you, talk to you about what you do. I'm so interested, and there are so many avenues. I'd love to speak to all of you. There you go.
So there you go. You got a great mentor opportunity there for those who are listening and just want to figure out what opportunities are out there and exploring it. You can have a chat with Adam, and he'll help you understand what Sandwire does and how you might be able to find a career path either there or somewhere else.
I want to say one last thing. You're all rock stars.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
All right.
It was great chatting with you. All right, so thanks for joining us today. Please come back next week, where we'll continue to share all things going on in the tech economy. We will love to have you, visit our website at nebulaacademy.com to learn more about us and our immersive programs that we offer. And please go out to weconnectthedots.org and make a donation to help us help others build careers in tech. Thank you.